Well, it seems like the Silver Arrows are finally back in the game, now that the huge upgrade has proven itself to work. The rest of the constructors might be in trouble now after the two Brits secured 2 podium finishes, something that was a dystopian scenario for them a couple of weeks ago. Nonetheless, could they catch up with Red Bull at this point of the season, given the fact that the Austrian team has yet to face the penalties of breaching the budget cap? Well, as of now, this might be the reality of the sport. And while it's still too early to confirm, Mercedes seems to be back in the fight. Now, the Barcelona GP has proven to be the most dominant outcome for the Silver Arrows, with the team now facing strong praise all around the grid for the dominant performances of Russell and Hamilton. Even though the 7-time world champion was briefly passed by Stroll at the beginning of the race, he cruised to second place in no time, passing Sainz and showing Ferrari how an upgrade package should be implemented on a car. The step that Mercedes may even be more impressive, considering the fact that they had no idea what they were doing with the car for 18 months, pushing it in the wrong direction, and to go out there and outperform the two teams that developed their car in the right direction by bringing only one upgrade package definitely shows that there's more to come from the Silver Arrows. Now, keep in mind that this is not the only package that comes to Mercedes in 2023, and now that they're planning to introduce changes to the floor of the car, Red Bull's dominance might not be as guaranteed as we thought a couple of weeks ago. Russell has been the first to talk about the positive influence of the upgrades on the W14, saying that he himself was surprised that the car had that much performance in itself. While Horner was quick to bash the young Briton for not receiving a penalty after going wide in turn 1 at the beginning of the lap, the speed of the W14 and the tyre degradation have worked in perfect harmony, enabling last year's Brazil race winner to secure the last place on the podium. It was definitely something to cheer for in Mercedes, the team that didn't see any of their drivers finish in the top 10 prior to the qualifying session due to the massive bouncing on the main straight and the decreased stability of the car. So this even adds more to the narrative of Mercedes stepping up their game, because Wolff admitted that they've changed a setup that made the car less likeable to be driven in the conditions that Barcelona presented, and that in itself was enough for the W14 to be more dominant than the AMR 23 and the SF 23, which again wasn't that easy of a challenge to overcome a couple of weeks ago. Now, when talking about the Mercedes performance in Barcelona, Russell went on to add, "Kudos to the team for giving me a really great car today. A strong race for us as well, from P12 coming all the way to P3. It's a sign of things to come, hopefully for us as a team." Now, what does a sign of things to come mean to Russell? It's evident that this is an enormous step in the performance of the W14, which seems to be bringing a lot of hope to the Brackley-based squad. They've now found a new direction for car development, one that was far from ideal just a couple of races ago. This is where all things get interesting, because it's very early in the season, and Mercedes is planning to use a joker that no other team has from their top rivals later on in the season: the wind tunnel and CFD time compared to Ferrari and Red Bull. As all things stand, Mercedes finding the perfect foundation to work on as soon as the next race in Montreal arrives is definitely something that will push the team in the right direction. And now we've been assured that Hamilton is here to stay. The 7-time world champion has shut down all of the rumours by saying that he and Wolff have talked about further collaboration and a new contract is expected to be signed very soon. When talking about the race pace of the W14 and how good he was after having a bad qualifying session, one in which he was close to receiving a front row prior to a disrupted setup of the car, the Briton added, "But a result for our team, we definitely didn't expect to have the result we had today. I just really want to take my hat off to my team. A big thank you to everyone back in the factory for continuing to push and bring us a little closer to the Red Bulls. I think they're too quick at the moment, but we're working at it, so just one step at a time. And if we can get close by the end of the year, that'll be awesome. But if not, then next year." Now, this seems to be a bit of a disappointing update for the Mercedes fans, but let me remind you something. They didn't even expect to be fighting the Aston Martins and the Ferraris here in Barcelona either. Truth be told, they didn't have the opportunity to have a fair and square battle against Leclerc. But the fact that the Monegasque wasn't even able to cruise past cars like Gasly, Tsunoda and Giovinazzi only goes to add that he wouldn't have presented that big of a challenge for the W14. So what comes next for Mercedes? Obviously they have a great future, and the hopes have been skyrocketing after the brilliant performance in Barcelona. The harsh reality that they have to face is still there: Verstappen's dominance. No team out there was close to the RB19, and while the P2 is definitely an overachievement for Mercedes right now, there is still work to be done for them to be back where they belong, at the top of the chart. One thing that Mercedes aimed to fix with their upgrades, and has done so successfully, is the stability of the car, as well as the tyre degradation of the W14. This was something with which the SF23 struggled a lot and continuously felt like they had no pace in the car whatsoever. But contrary to them, the W14 seemed to work perfectly fine on every compound that the team mounted on the car. The soft, medium, soft tactic proved to be the crucial one for the double podium finish. And after gathering 33 points, the most out of any racing weekend in 2023, Mercedes is now holding second place in the Constructors' Championship. Although Verstappen may be uncatchable at the top, the number one spot in the Constructors' Championship is not that far away, considering how far off Perez has been with his performance, constantly underperforming when the pressure of being the championship candidate has finally gotten to him. Now, Montreal is the upcoming race in which Mercedes will try to get the most out of the W14's new upgrade performance. And the fact that they performed so well on a circuit that doesn't quite suit the cars the best due to the high downforce requirement and a huge toll on the tyres goes to show that they found something that they can work with. Wolff said that now the team can start working from zero after spending 8 months looking out the wrong window. And the number one thing that Mercedes has accepted right now is that the uncertainties around the car are gone. When talking about this matter, Wolff said, "I think it's solid. I think we should have been right behind Verstappen. And this is what we've seen after FP3, where we felt we had something in the bag. And that's why the disappointment after the qualifying session is big, because we expected more. But I think it's a new baseline. It's from where we continue to work with a certain stability and without needing to question certain parts of the car, whether it's the bodywork, the floor, or the front suspension. It's now established, and this is what we're taking forward." Now the goal is clear for Mercedes: win as many races as they can in 2023. And if they cannot beat Verstappen, definitely put the pressure on Perez and show that they can fight for the P1 spot in the Constructors' Championship. But the 17% extra time they have in the wind tunnel compared to Red Bull seems a lot scarier now that they've found the perfect baseline to work with. And this is something that could be crucial in terms of how the car will adapt to the remainder of the season. One thing is for sure, Mercedes found something new with their upgrades, and they made us all believe that the boredom-filled season may not be the reality, as they will subtly improve further down the road with what they have to bring to the car and test it further in the wind tunnels.